We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. And do I have a motion that board members certify that only the items on the closed agenda were discussed in the closed session?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Time for our pledge. Do we have a guest? Lead us?
Yes.
Addie, are you our guest? You can bring us home here? I'll let you kick it off.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Alright, first up, we have our consent agenda from our general meeting last month. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Recognitions, Dr. Frazier.
Good evening, board members and guests. We do have a few recognitions that we're celebrating this month. On September 8th, we celebrated International Literacy Day. And as our instructional focus for this month, we also have been focused on literacy. So hopefully we'll have our literacy video that will come out later this month. This month we've also celebrated National Grandparents Day, Patriot Day, Constitution Day, Civics Education Week, See Something, Say Something Week Day, National Voter Registration Day, National Teacher Assistant Day, Suicide Prevention Month, and Hispanic Heritage Month. So those are all my recognitions for this month.
Thank you, Dr. Frazier. Moving to our presentations. First up, we have a gifted program update. Dr. Hauser.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you. I'm here for the gifted update. I wish I could say that gifted education was in the forefront of all that's going on in education right now. It remains in our sights as important, but I look today and there hasn't been a gifted update on the state level since 2012. So I come to you with some good news and some hopes for change in the future. So gifted staff. So I'm the primary contact for gifted education. Mrs. Whitehurst at the elementary school is gifted endorsed and the gifted coordinator there. Mrs. Jennifer Hart, who is here tonight, thank you very much, is the gifted coordinator at the middle school, high school, and we also have a gifted advisory board who has faculty, parents, and community members on it to help guide our way into the world of gifted education. We meet 4 times a year, and we've done book studies and professional learning together, and all kinds of things that they help keep gifted ideas and issues in the forefront. We have 68 identified gifted students. They have to have a pretty stringent process and some very particular strengths in order to be identified as gifted. And we have 18 students who are in the talent pool. And those are students who their teachers feel that they display some gifted characteristics, and we're waiting to gather some other information on them before making them identified. After school, we have a lot of things going on. As you all know, a lot of our gifted students participate in music or drama. They are meeting with clubs, and they're also very active in sports, or all of those things, as many of our students are. But also, our gifted students and our talent pool students have the opportunity to work with Mrs. Hart at the middle high school on specially prepared activities after school, and also at the elementary work with Ms. Whitehurst on some specific enrichment and extension activities. They also have regular communication with their students and their families so that everybody kind of will know what's going on, what they can participate in. But that's part of our model to serve students is the after-school model. In school, we focus on differentiation, and that is providing what high achieving students need in the regular classroom. We do that through our gifted coordinators working with teachers to provide professional learning on strategies and implementation models for how to make sure everyone in the class is getting what they need. And then as you get on up into the high school, class choice. We rely heavily on class choice to meet student needs for gifted students. Summer Regional Governor School. So Governor School has had a rough time since COVID, and I remember telling you last year about how there was no Governor School because teachers were so burned out that nobody applied to teach in Governor School. Thankfully, this past summer was different, and we had 11 spots, but we were able to send all 15 of our students who applied to Governor School. So they had a 1 week of intensive study in a subject of their choice, which culminated on Friday in the Share Fair, which is when they show their work from the week. I was there, Mrs. Hart was there, Mrs. Whitehurst was there, and it was just exciting to see the culmination of work and the projects the students worked on. So with that, I bring you a special guest, Ms. Adeline Gibbs, who took the opportunity to have a 1 week intensive study in pre-med. So I feel like our lives, as I grow old, if I wake up my eyes up in the operating room, I open my eyes and I see Adeline, I will be very happy. So Adeline and I like to dress alike, so come on up.
Every day, you said.
Yeah, every day. And she has a presentation on her mini medical pitch. So.
Okay, so I went to the mini medical camp in this summer. So we learned about like a lot of different things. So one of the things we learned about was like all of the bones in the body, and then we had to make a song about like all the bones so that we could remember all of them. And yeah.
You can sing?
I feel like you had a video.
It's there.
There it
There
is.
is a video.
Yeah.
Do you want sound?
And then we dissected a lot of animals too. So we dissected a sheep heart, sheep lungs, and sheep brain, and then we also dissected a cow eye. So like it was really cool to dissect them and see what was inside. Yeah. And the sheep organs were like really similar to the human ones, so it was like cool to see how that was like similar.
Hopefully you did that after lunch.
No, we did it before.
After lunch might be worse.
And then, so each day we learned about one or two new organs. And on the first day we like traced ourselves on a big sheet of paper. And then each day we like drew out an organ and added it to our body. And so at the end we had like a bunch of different organs on the paper. So we learned about the brain, heart, lungs, kidneys, and then the large intestine and smaller intestine. And then we also made a water bottle lung model. So like if you pulled on the bottom, it would like the balloon in the middle would blow up like your lungs would. And then we took a trip to the hospital. It's somewhere there.
Represent.
Yeah, there. We got to see like the ambulance, and we went inside of the ambulance and like got to see all the machines they had there. And then we went to the ER and like saw like the waiting room and then the back of the ER like ready to go. And then we also met all the nurses. And then we went to the hospital pharmacy, so that's where they make all the medicine and stuff for the patients inside the hospital. And like you have to like wear all this stuff and then go inside like a separate room to make, and like you have to wear like a lot of protection to make the. So we saw somebody else. It was like a glass room, or like it had clear windows. So we saw somebody making chemo, and it was really we also we went to the X-ray room and the CAT scan room, which is cool. Because like we got to see how the X-rays work and all that stuff. And then we also learned CPR while we were there. So. And we did a couple of little experiments. So we did the DNA of the strawberry. So we like mashed up the strawberries and then we like mixed fish soap and water and then like the DNA of the strawberry, you could see it was really cool. And then we also made a model of like the neuron from your brains. Like we made a model of it, and that was cool. And then each day we would diagnose a patient. So it was normally our teacher or another teacher, and they told us like stories about someone in their family, but they pretended to be that person, and we had to like look up their symptoms and figure out what the disease they had was. And then we also had like one guest come in and talk about her daughter that had like a really rare disease, and we had to figure out what it was. It was cool. And yeah, I really enjoyed going to school because we got to learn about all like the medical things and yeah.
How do you go to mini medical camp?
So thank you, Adeline, for that.
It's awesome.
Yes, so 15 of our friends had experiences, not just like that, but a lot like that in other sciences and other areas. So they had a great week, and I had a great time too. I got to visit with them and then see their work on the Friday, so it was great. So gifted plan. So in 2025, which still sounds really far away, but it's not. We will be writing a new gifted plan, which will take us through 2030. And so that's on our advisory agenda and our school's agendas. We are also looking at our identification criteria and studying ways that we can identify students more effectively for some of the opportunities that are existing out there. And as I mentioned earlier, there are a few obstacles right now. There's definitely more of a move towards looking at who we need to bring up through the All-In grant initiative. And we're really trying to focus on the opportunities that are external to West Point. So for example, we have a student who's applying to the PAGE program to work in our Virginia General Assembly. I was just talking to Mr. Leach. We have 4 students who want to go to space camp. So we're really working with some of our gifted friends on opportunities that can match them for these special experiences. Because what makes gifted an obstacle right now is partially because, I'll just use you as an example, Jennifer, I'm sorry. But Jennifer is also one of our All-In tutors because she's a middle school English language arts person. So in small districts like ours, we're relying on the same people to do multiple things. So even if we had a lot of funding to do a lot of extra things with like the Virginia Literacy Act and some other things, we're just limited in the time we have during the day. But that doesn't mean we're not trying. So for example, Ms. Britt in her building, during the intervention blocks, students who don't need intervention can go to the STEAM room for an enrichment lesson. So we're trying to get at the students as best we can when we can. But there's just a lot going on right now in state government, in schools, with the state, with our DOE, and we're just trying to meet everyone's needs as best we can. But that is to say there are obstacles. Professional learning and development. Mrs. Hart and Mrs. Whitehurst work with teachers. Last year they presented to the teachers and then they're available by consultation to teachers who have questions about some strategies perhaps they could use with their high flyers. We're in a gifted consortium with other divisions, so once a month I meet with all of the other people who work in other divisions who are responsible for gifted education, and we brainstorm ideas and hear about each other's successes and challenges. We do attend professional learning when offered. There's one coming up in Middlesex in November that we are attending, or we have teachers attending rather. And then there's the National Association for Gifted Children and the Virginia Gifted Association, and we, we're on their list, and we check out what is available through those agencies to help us serve gifted students. And that's all I've prepared for an update, but as always, open to questions or comments or anything of the sort.
Is the regional governor school, is that only for math and science?
Generally, there is a science kind of bend on it. So the Chesapeake Bay Governor School, which is our local governor school for the school year academic, is of course environmental science based. So I think that's why they usually have a science focus, is because they're hoping to feed into that program, where we don't currently have any students enrolled in Chesapeake Bay because we're able to offer those same classes through dual enrollment here. But I think that's why there's a science focus, and also this area is just rich with environmental science opportunities. So I think it's just circumstantial that, that's the focus.
I'm a little biased, but some
Yeah.
history would be
Yeah.
nice.
Well, sometimes they do.
Kind of a history area too.
Engineering. Well, we need to apply to be a teacher. Yeah.
Let me add that to my list. No, I know it's not on you. I was just
Yeah.
curious because I know I've always seen it come out like, hey, it's time to apply or whatever, and I'm always like, it's science, science, science. So I just was curious if there was.
I mean, sometimes there's engineering, there's been like art, there's been different things, but it's sort of a sciencey take on those topics too.
It sounds like it's been challenging the last few years, and obviously with everything that's been going on, it's understandable, and resources are spread thin. Looking at the gifted pool and then the talent pool, do you think that number has been declining over the years, or is it staying steady? Okay.
It's steady. And it's just so if you recall, early on in the budget process, there was a gifted resource teacher in the budget. And it's just a matter of priority. It's like you have a lot of fires burning and you just throw the water on the one that's burning the hottest and the fastest. So I think when we looked at Dr. Frazier's budget proposal for last year, we saw that the gifted students have remained the same, the number, or have risen in some cases. We have actually more gifted students than we've ever had right now, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But we have to make some terribly difficult decisions. You do, we do, we all do. And that is unfortunate, because when you think about leadership and who's making the discoveries, that's not where we're putting a lot of our resources. And where I understand why, and I would absolutely say we need to teach everyone to read and we need to do all these things, we also need to make sure every student gets what they need. And for our high ability kids, they need something different. And it's very challenging to supply that right now when you have lots of other demands happening on what you're doing during your teaching time. So that's why we're trying our best to look for some outside things, not because that's just we're gonna outsource it. That's just our model. But we're looking for those opportunities that can match a student, because it can make the difference for them. I mean, if I could go to space camp, it would make a difference to me too. I mean, that would be super cool. Or if I thought about local government and I got to be a page. So it is, Mr. Evans, it is very challenging.
Sure.
This is challenging work. You all are in challenging seats. It's all very challenging. We just have to put the resources where we think the biggest fire is.
Well, I appreciate your efforts. I know it's juggling for sure.
Yeah, thank you. And we need to do more. We're in that span of more all the time. So, anything else? Any other questions? Yeah. Well, thank you. And thank you to Natalie Gibbs for
Yeah.
setting
That's
up
wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you, Addie, for sharing that experience. All right. Enrollment update, Dr. Frazier.
So each month, board members, you receive, each month, board members receive our enrollment board report. For this time of year, we do think it's important to share those numbers with you at our meeting. And so you can see, some historical data, going back to 2013 as to where our enrollment has been. On this chart, we included that tuition piece, so we can see where our tuition numbers have been with the tuition percentage and the actual number of tuition students has been as well. So you can see as we have had an increase of students in the town that live here in town, we have seen a decrease in the number of tuition students. Looking at this particular chart, you will see our elementary school with 368 students, but just know that that number includes students in grades kindergarten through 5th grade. And then we have our students at the secondary level and middle school. The middle school, to break it down, middle school is at 189 and high school 243. So our without preschool in the number, we're looking at 803 students. The reason why we don't include in our enrollment number our preschool students is because our funding is completely different for preschool. And so when we go to the monthly tuition report, that's in your packet, you will see that the number of preschool students that we have currently, for DPI we have 28, for ECSC, IPOP we have 8 students, so that then takes that total for the elementary school up to 404, and our total enrollment at the middle school, high school would be 435, to give us a total in the division currently with preschool would give us 839, and our budget number is 787. Any questions about enrollment? And you can see here on the chart where we combine those numbers, middle school and high school, so you can see where we got that 435 total for the building. And these are numbers that we will be sharing with the town ed committee when we meet with them on Thursday, so they can also see the enrollment trends over the last years.
So based on growth in pre-K and then trending growth in elementary numbers, as it progresses, if it follows that same pattern, is it safe to say that tuition's gonna obviously have to go down in the upcoming year?
Potentially, yes.
More space gets bigger.
More space gets bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You've also got more flexibility in high school. Spacing
Right. We have more
classes
flexibility.
than you do.
Right. We have more flexibility at the middle school, high school. That building currently is at 80% capacity. The elementary school is at 90% capacity. So there's still some room in both buildings. So we are having these conversations about growth at the right time. And we also know that there are some other measures that we can put in place even before we construct the building. And there are learning cottages and different options that we can do in the meantime if we need to.
Is that a fancy term for a permanent trailer? Learning cottage. Modular
Yes.
learning. Okay.
Yes, Mr.
Learning
That is a
cottage.
new. That's the first time I've heard that. I'm gonna start calling those
The
like
learning
lost or the
cottages.
learning cottages. My dad would call it the trailer park. They might prefer the learning.
We do
Yes.
not have a trailer park. We may have learning cottages.
I like that. The number you said, the 787. That was our estimate, right?
Right.
Okay, that's not what the state. Okay, just clarify.
That is the number that we estimate our budget on.
Right. Okay.
And we know that it's important not to base our budget on this max number.
Yeah.
Because if we fall short, we don't want to take the money back.
Right.
Any other questions?
Great. Items under study. First up, we have our few policy revisions.
So you do have, a set of policy revisions. We will say, read over those, let us know if they are particular policies of concern. If they are particular policies of concern, we can pull those, but we will try to approve as many in a lump as possible. And if you have questions prior to the board meeting, shoot me an email about those specific policies. And we also, if needed, we also can have a work session to discuss policies. I know that was a request of the board at one time.
All right, any questions about policies?
You're targeting for an action item next month.
If we can approve it next month, that'll be great.
It's just curious the goal.
Mhm. And if there are some that are not ready for next month, that we need more time, then, but if we are prepared, if the board's prepared to approve policies, begin approving policies next month, that would be great.
Yeah, it looked like, just glancing at it, more than a few were just verbiage to align the state code, right? So might be able to prioritize those. All right, anything else? All right, action items. Some action. Thank y'all for coming. Have a good evening. All right, first up, we have a motion to approve our expenditures and receive our revenue reports.
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, the motion carries. We have a motion to approve our cafeteria expenditures.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, motion carries. Personnel recommendations, we saw closed. We have a motion to approve the personnel recommendation.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, that motion carries. Got a few donations as well to approve. We have a motion to approve donations.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, motion carries. We have initial tuition student applicants for this school year. We have a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All that oppose, motion carries. Our advisory committees.
And you will note that we have added board members to some of those committees. And so we think that can add to the committees. So we hope that the board members look forward to serving on those designated committees.
I do, thank you.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be good. I think it's good. Good opportunity to engage.
Yeah.
So do we have a motion to approve the?
Mr. Jones, also just for the record, we also have reached out to others in the community about committees. So this is the initial list that we will go with, but if people decline, we will have a list that we will then be able to pull from of folks that are interested in committees.
And then who will invite us to our respective committee meetings? Will you chair
Yes.
someone?
Yes, we will make sure that you have calendar invites to other community meetings.
Gentle nudge is greatly appreciated.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, anything else on advisory committee? Do I have a motion to approve the advisory committees for 24-25 school year?
So moved.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? If All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. To the information already, okay. Got several items there for information. Any questions around those?
So you do have also added some information, which was added to today. I know the date on the cover page says the 16th, but it was released to us today. The cell phone guidance from DOE. And so we would like you all to start reviewing that cell phone policy, that cell phone guidance, and we will have discussions around that, at our October meeting.
Deadline's January on that?
Yes, so we have to have, we should have a policy or make updates to our policy by January.
Do we need formal action, or is this like a study to say, hey, we feel like our policy meets the state guidance, or do we have to adopt?
Well, I think once we review the guidance, then we can say whether or not we feel like our policy, meets the guidance, or we can adopt a new policy or make a revision.
So that's the exercises
Yes.
for us, though.
Yes, so first we want to just take some time to review the state guidance. And be prepared to have some conversation about that.
Alright, anything else for information? Mr. Leach, delegations?
No, sir.
No delegations. So we've got our planning session on the 26th.
26th, and that meeting will take place we will start at the middle school high school.
Middle school, high school, right?
In the
And
cafeteria,
In the library.
library, okay.
then our next general meeting is the 17th.
15th?
It's 15th?
October.
Oh,
Today's the 17th.
See, it's that moon again. Alright. It starts. Okay. Well, there it is. There it is. Turn the page, as they say. Alright. Alright. It's appropriate we adjourn. That's where we are right now. That motion to adjourn.
Yes, so moved.
We are adjourned. Thank you.